and there's no recession, there's no war, there's no more pandemic in 2034. So that is 10 budget cycles from right now. The baseline number is we'll be borrowing $2.6 trillion that single year. And it gets worse from there because the next year, Social Security Trust Fund is gone, and we always made the assumption that when it blows up, you're not going to double senior poverty in this country. And this is not a non sequitur. I was just so angry at the president's speech last night on the comments about, promise me you're not going to cut Social Security and Medicare. We're not going to cut Social Security and Medicare, but are you promising you're going to work with us to save it? Where was the discussion saying all the data says in 10 years the trust fund is gone and there's a 23% cut out there? And I'm going to show you at the end of this slide deck that the pandering from my brothers and sisters on the left, just raise the taxes. It doesn't fix the problem. It doesn't even come close. And instead of having a moral discussion from this podium over here saying we're going to not let doubling of senior poverty happen in this country, we're going to work together. It was used for a campaign's kickoff. This number here is the baseline. So for all of us running around saying we're going to balance it in 10 years, great. You have a structural $2.6 trillion on 2034. That's 10 budget years from now. Where are you going to get it? So let's walk through the math even more to understand where we're at in the fragility. Let's say over the next 10 years, there's 1% more interest on what CBO was projecting last year. What was 1% do to us? It basically means on that 2034, that 10-year budget from now, you're sitting at $3.1 trillion structural deficit. That's every year. That's the baseline deficit with just 1 point change in interest rates. You're going to balance in 10 years. I want to balance in 10 years. You find me $3.1 trillion that will be gone in 10 years. Do you understand how bad the math is? But we're going to talk about the shiny objects around here. Oh, there's a balloon. The balloon's a problem. Oh, there's this. It's a problem. This is what will take down the republic. And it's hard to talk about. It's math. And I don't know how to make math necessarily interesting.
Hello, friends. So it is happening right now. Top Republicans and Democrats are beginning negotiations on a new spending bill. But House Speaker Kevin McCarthy has confirmed cuts to some very important programs. And this could mean very bad news for millions of retirees and seniors. My friends, please make sure that you watch until the end of this video to hear about all of these changes. Also, I will be giving away 2 $75 Walmart gift cards in just a few days. If you'd like to enter this Friday's giveaway, please make sure that you are subscribed to my channel, click and like several of my videos, and then do comment below the keyword of each video that you watch. My friends, the more videos that you comment on, the greater your chances of winning the weekly giveaways. Republican lawmakers are lining up behind attaching spending cuts to legislation to raise the U.S. debt limit. But an overwhelmingly majority of Americans say the two issues should be handled separately. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy, in his remarks ahead of President Biden's State of the Union address, was very careful not to talk about spending cuts, as he had pledged that Republicans would not push for cuts to Medicare and Social Security. While some Republicans remain interested in deep budget cuts, there is now growing resistance from GOP lawmakers who are concerned about how that would impact defense funding. So when asked if he would accept the spending caps like the ones enacted a decade ago, Senate Republican Lindsey Graham said, if they could control spending without counting us backward on defense, then count me in. But that task is easier said than done. Many lawmakers are also concerned about Social Security and Medicare. Republicans have unveiled their Commitment to America plan last September. which calls for holding Washington accountable by addressing Social Security and Medicare, among many other proposals. However, the plan does not provide more details on how those goals would be accomplished. Earlier this month, the U.S. reached a debt ceiling, which represents a total amount of money that the U.S. can borrow to fund its legal obligations, including Medicare and Social Security. But if left unaddressed, many experts say that may prompt a delay in benefits as the government scrambles to prioritize payments. As lawmakers negotiate an agreement to raise or eliminate the debt ceiling, many worry that may include compromises on Medicare and Social Security. Senate Republican John Cornyn, an advisor to the Senate Republican leadership team, said, "I think our politics seem to be more characterized by using these proposals as a political opportunity to attack opposing points of view rather than to solve problems, and that's a problem." House Republicans hope to balance a budget in the next decade, pressing for steep spending cuts to be attached to any debt ceiling. Budget watchdog groups and lawmakers in both parties say the chances of balancing the budget in 10 years without steep cuts to defense programs or reforms to Social Security and Medicare are very small. An analysis released by the Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget found last month that Congress would need to reduce all spending by about 25% to do so. During President Biden's State of the Union address, he was heckled by several Republican politicians about claiming some Republicans want Medicare and Social Security to sunset. In response to his remark, a large number of Republican lawmakers were heard saying no. The U.S. president appeared to be referencing a plan released last year by Senator Rick Scott of Florida, then chair of the National Republican Senatorial Committee, which would introduce a 5-year sunset clause for all federal legislation. This would mean Medicare and Social Security would have to be regularly renewed in order to remain law. Speaking in October 2018, Mitch McConnell called entitlements, a term usually deployed to describe welfare payments like Medicare and Social Security, the real drivers of the debt, adding they need to be adjusted to the demographics of America in the future. Republican Senator Ron Johnson has previously suggested that Medicare and Social Security should cease being federal entitlement programs and instead require approval every year as discretionary spending. Florida Senator Marco Rubio has called for structural changes in the U.S. welfare provisions. Senator Rubio has said, "We have to do two things. We have to generate economic growth, which generates revenue, while reducing spending. That will mean instituting structural changes to Medicare and Social Security for the future." Whilst he hasn't clearly called for Medicare or Social Security to be axed, Senator Rick Scott chaired the National Republican Senatorial Committee when it proposed all federal laws should be eliminated after 5 years, unless Congress votes to keep them. The proposal was made as part of the 2022 American Rescue Plan, though Mitch McConnell insisted it was not party policy. So, dear friends, what are your thoughts about all of these proposals? Please let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Well, my marvelous and most amazing friends, that is the end of my daily stimulus update video for this Wednesday. My friends, thank you so very, very much for joining me here every day and for being part of this community. To say thank you, I will be announcing 2 winners this coming Friday for a $75 Walmart gift card giveaway. Please, friends, make sure you enter the giveaway by clicking and liking several of my videos, and then comment below the keyword of each video that you watch. The more videos that you comment on, the greater your chances, friends, of winning the giveaways. Thank you and have a very wonderful and very blessed week.